Boas pessoal, daqui é o Trash, da Treshtoons. Boas pessoal, aqui falou Trash, da Treshtoons. E hoje the video is gonna still be in English. And not edited as much, but I will edit it now that this airplane is passing by. Tresh, why are you in your car with your bald head in the sun, shining as your future has never did? Well, because 10 years ago, I was on this street and I recorded my first video, the video that started Treshtoons. It's been that long, and this video is gonna be a little long, unedited, unless the planes are passing by. And I'm sorry if I speak a little slow, feel free to speed up the video. But I'm gonna talk about everything that I've never really did talk about. Friendships that are no longer and I've never talked about, achievements that I got and I often overlook, and how much I failed and where have we gotten, where are we right now. When I started this channel I was 23, I'm now 33, living by myself. I was living with my mom back then and my brother, and I'm engaged. I'm gonna get married whenever, you know, our services decide that I can marry an American citizen. But that's where I'm standing right now, still living by myself though until then. Me and my boy Rufus, which is on his way to 9 years old. I know some of you, very few of you, have been following me throughout most of this journey. Others don't even know who I am, and others, well, surely you might remember me when you were younger and now you're an adult and you find me at Feira Dobic and you tell me, oh, it's that guy I used to watch. That happened. No shade though, I appreciate it. Let's talk about where I'm standing right now. Right now I'm standing in my car and there's a plane passing by, so I'm gonna cut this part too. Right now I'm probably in one of my worst times. And I'm sorry, this video is gonna have a lot of negativity. But it's part of reality. Living by myself through COVID and through all of that. Also coming out 7 or 8 years ago from a relationship that ended not really well. It messed me up. Being so much time by yourself in your house. Currently I work from home. I don't even work as an illustrator anymore. I just work for customer support for the past like 3 or 4 years. It messes you up. Being alone for so long messes you up. And I've needed medication to feel like myself again. I've gotten out of that medication, but this year Rufus has had a lot of health complications. Only this year I've probably already spent 4,000 or 5,000 with him already, which is, as you might expect, a lot. But thankfully I've had a lot of help to cover that. Not really the money part that's the issue, it's the mental that it takes on me. Plus all the wedding stuff I've been having to do. Seeing that Treshtoons doesn't really succeed on anything that I try to do. And just not constantly feeling like I don't have energy to try anything new. Or anything at all. Or anything old even. I'm just tired. There's not a single day for the past 2 or 3 years that I don't think about just quitting, deleting all my socials and quitting. But I find myself empty. Like, if I'm not creating something, if I'm not even just streaming, even for one viewer, which has happened a lot, I don't know what to do. So I just start streaming, and my day gets either a little better or awful. But that's been my life for the past couple of years. I also barely get commissions. There's airplane. I barely get commissions, and I'm not saying this is trying to beg people to come watch my stream, come commission me, give me money. No, I'm just giving you the reality of what it is. But I also got to appreciate the things that I've managed to experience throughout these last 10 years. For 5 or 6 years, I only did illustration. I lived off that. COVID was almost a blessing in that sense because people had a lot of money, so I kept having work. But then slowly I didn't. Then I had to get a full-time job, and for the past couple of years I get less and less. Twitch payouts used to come every month. Now they come every 4 or 5 months maybe. But I did get to experience a lot of good stuff. I met amazing people that I still consider my friends. The community that was built, most of them don't even watch my streams anymore, but we hang out daily on Discord, and I consider them my friends. And 10 years ago, if you asked me how many friends I had, I would tell you none. Nowadays I can tell you I have a lot, so that part is good. I managed to work with companies, with brands. That was amazing. Nintendo was a blessing for so much of my time creating content. I managed to work to have illustrations of mine put into Warframe, working for amazing content creators. Like my biggest client right now is that Mods. Some of you probably know him. There's like so much stuff that I've achieved and I've gotten throughout the years that it's easy to forget, right? Like voice acting. If it wasn't for Treshtoons, I would have never met Danny. Danny would have never gotten me into a casting, and from the casting I would never have been called for recording, and from then on I wouldn't have been called for more stuff. So you know, it's a blessing that I started this, and I don't regret starting Treshtoons. There's been some really dark times, and inexperience spoke very loud on my end, both with companies and with friends and with content creation. One of the worst things that happened to me a couple years ago was a company I worked for knew that I was drawing. Like I did customer support, but they found out I could draw, so they sent me home, and I was drawing 10 hours a day or more, doing stuff for the client of the company, which is the gaming company. And I kept being told that I was going to become the media manager, I was going to become the illustrator for the team. I came back from like 15 days or so working my ass off. Nobody knew where I had been. I just disappeared and nobody knew where I had been. Turns out the person that sent me home and was like my boss's boss's boss never actually even followed through with the promise that he made me. And he never told the company why I was home. So I actually almost got fired because of that. And in the end, the friend of someone else that was working there got the job, and nobody knew everything that I drew. I was under NDA, so I couldn't post it. I never got paid for any of that, and I learned. So yeah, if you ever play Clash Royale or Clash of Clans, just think about me. That's as much as I'm gonna say. But let's get the elephant out of the room, right? Let's talk about what you guys want to hear. Some of you want to hear. After this quick plane break. I think I've spoken about this on stream once or twice, but I've never really went into detail with it. My friendship with Wuant, and this is a name you haven't heard out of my mouth in a long time. I want to get it out of the way. I have no ill feelings towards Paul. I have absolutely nothing against him. I have in the past, and I will go on to that, and I'll explain everything. But as we stand nowadays, I don't hold any grudge, anything with me. So if you don't know, when I started, I got a huge boost in my viewership because of Wuant, which back then he had around 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is and was a huge feat back then. Nowadays he's on millions. And here's what happened. From night to day, you saw that we stopped interacting with each other. Me and Paul Wuant, yeah, I don't. From night to day, we kind of stopped talking. And there's a reason for that. I used to be very good friends. At least I considered him a very good friend. The type of friends that I have nowadays, where we would speak every day. Back then on Skype, but I would talk with him. There's people putting music loud on purpose. But yeah, we used to like speak every day. I considered him a good friend. I would like talk with him about private stuff. And one day, he called me out for doing a comic book, and I was like, wow, that's a fucking amazing opportunity. So let's do it. And we just started working on it. He would write the chapters super fast. That's something I called him out. I was like, dude, you gotta think about this. But passing on to that, things just like we started working on stuff. We were about 2 chapters in, and we had an interview with the publisher. And that's when it got a bit scary because it seemed very real. Back then, I was working full time for a bank. I was making much more money than average. So back then, you would make about 650. I was making 800 and something. So I was already discounting a lot of money to taxes. Why is this important? I'll tell you after this play. So I was already discounting a certain amount, which was a lot. And the thing was, I'm not gonna say numbers of values, right? But I'm gonna say percentages. If we sold a certain amount, like if we sold or not a certain amount of books, we would discount 6%, right? We would, so there's 100% of the sales, 10% would go for me and Wuant. And within those 10%, we would divide 5-5. It's fine here, we both agreed on that. We would divide 5-5. And so these 5% are now my 100. From this, I would have to discount 6% for taxes. If we sold over a certain amount, I would have to discount 12% of those now my new 100%. This would stack up with the money I was already getting from the bank. I had already open activity because I had worked, I had past receipts as an illustrator and other stuff. So I wouldn't get like the freebie year that we get here. This means by working my ass off on this book, I would have to pay, to the state, I would have to pay a shit ton of money. I would actually be on negative. And I had just moved with back then my girlfriend. I was in a new relationship, moving in with someone. I would come home from work 8 hours, sit in the room, draw for like 4 or 5 hours, go to bed, repeat the next day. And then these numbers came around and I told Wuant, I was like, hey dude, sorry, I don't want to continue this. And he was angry at me. In a way, I didn't explain myself well enough to him, maybe. And in the other hand, he was very young. He was very, very young. So I don't blame him. I don't blame myself. We were both inexperienced. And from then on, he got mad at me and I told him, hey, please just don't use whatever I've done already. And if I have still the PNGs from the stuff I drew, if you look at the first chapter and like halfway into the second chapter, it's like a carbon copy of what I did because the other illustrator just went through with it and did what I have done already. And that's fine. But then we never spoke again. The problem here was random viewers from him would show up on my stream, tell them I just use them to make money, and then ditch them. There was also an interaction. I think on Twitter I said when he was on the YouTuber house, and I said something like, we're all idiots in front of a camera making money, so we're all the same. And I think it was mentioning the people in the house he was living with, and he's like, you know very well what you did, you should shut up. And this just brought a mob of people towards my way. Airplane. So I understand that I left him in a rough spot, but also later on, you know, that mob of people would come on my streams and my DMs, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, everywhere, and they would just fucking rampage hate on me, which was not his intention, I'm sure. I'm very, very sure of that. And that's it. That's what happened. That's why one of the people that I considered back then one of my best friends, I don't know if he considered the same, but I did. We ended up never talking again. Nowadays, from clips I see from him, he's changed a lot. I don't know how he is as a, like, you know, personally. The YouTubers and streamers are always different when you meet them. And, you know, there's people that are genuinely nice people that I've met. Rick Fazers is one of them. Very few times I've talked with Rick, but it can pass, and I'm sorry I'm getting out of the way, but I remember that it's been like 3 or 4 years that I hadn't seen Rick. He saw me at IKEA, he fucking got out of his way, came up to me to talk. How nice of a guy he is. Remedy is still one of my personal friends. Remedy and Hermie, just amazing people. People I cherish and people I really, really like. There's like amazing people in this business, so to say, and some are very different than what they are on camera. So what I see from Wuant nowadays, he looks like a much better person, a much more balanced human being that grew up, which is normal. I did too. And the hardest part about growing up is having people not bring up stuff you said or did before. And that's why it's so hard for me to clean my image, because people just get stuck that I'm like this really angry, aggressive guy that bans everybody that doesn't agree with him. When that was me like 6-7 years ago. Even like this year, I feel like I've already changed as a person from experiences I've had from the past like 2 years or so. So yeah, that's what happened in between us. As of myself, what I think was one of the biggest mistakes when starting out and growing, and even like for a really long time, was I felt like I had to reply to everybody. And when they tell you don't feed the trolls, I thought it was just, you know, whatever. Now it's true. Don't go after people that are copying your work, flying an airplane. Foda-se, calor do caralho. There's a graffiti there saying anal hurts. Nice. Applying to everybody, going after people that are copying your work, or using your stuff as avatars on fucking YouTube, and forcing people in your chat to speak English and being very aggressive about it. The more relaxed I am about the content and the stuff I say and do online, and the more I ignore people that I don't agree with, the happier I've been. I shouldn't have replied to a lot of people that I did. I go back and I sometimes find comments of myself that are kind of sad. But that's part of learning. Right? That's part of learning. And part of growing up. Now and then you'll still find me talking with someone about something and I should just stop replying, but in all honesty, usually it means that I care about the person or I care about the topic enough. But then I just get tired and I stop talking. But lately, less and less do I even engage in conversations that I know that will down spiral. There was no script for this. Maybe I should have written things down, because I've been thinking about this video for like 3 weeks, every day. But I think that's most of the topics I wanted to bring up. If you're a new artist or an old artist, make sure you get everything written down when you agree with a big company like Lisbon Games Week. Make sure you express your feelings, even if they're negative. Don't explode. It's very hard, but yeah, do that. And oh yeah, hobbies. I play Pokemon TCG for like a year now. And I paint Warhammer miniatures. Not as much, I haven't painted in a long time, but hobbies really also helped me meet new people and kind of get out of the slump where I was just stuck at home. So get a hobby. You will spend a lot of money, but if you're like me, it's money you're not spending on fast food, and you're not every day thinking about, yeah, that's about it. It's also hard to talk about these topics of like the lack of content or the lack of ideas, or how can I bring more people, because there's always going to be an idiot that doesn't do anything related to content creation that will tell you what to do. Anything you might think of suggesting, I've done it. I've done IRL streams, I've invested in shorts, I've done cross-posting on several medias, I've done multi-streams, I've done short content, long content, I've taken breaks, I've done challenges, I've done giveaways, I've done collabs. There's so many things I've done. It's 10 years. 10 years is a lot of stuff, a lot of time. So, and then someone's gonna say, just be yourself, do what you like. I've been doing that ever since I've actually started just doing what I like. I've lost a shit ton of viewers, but whatever. Some days feel good, some days don't, and that's it. This is a weird video. I don't even know how I feel about this, but it's been 10 years and I wanted to pour it all out. And if you've watched this far, even if it's at 4 times speed, thank you. I'm sorry if I said something that made you feel uneasy, or I don't know, offended somehow, or you don't agree with somehow. It's just everything that I've said here. I don't want to come across as someone who's not thankful for what I've achieved so far. I am very thankful for the experiences I've had in my life and the ones that are yet to come. I don't know when this will end. For me, it would be never, but one day, well, everything comes to an end, right? And yeah, thanks a lot. I'll see you on the next one, I guess. Stay tuned.